Hi, thanks for watching. I wanted to make this quick video just so I can show you how you can leverage some minor changes to your online presence that can have a pretty big effect in the amount of exposure and then therefore the amount of clients that you can attract just through the amount of search volume that's out there on the internet. I usually do these quick little videos only because a lot of people aren't familiar with some of the terms, so I find that it's easier to be able to show them exactly what's going on. So when I do a search currently for a financial planner in Fall River, right now, you guys are coming up, I believe it was around the 37th position down here. So for just comparison purposes, I'm going to take your website as well as the top websites that come up here in this search. And then I'm also going to do one for Boston. And the reason being is when I do Fall River, there isn't a whole lot of search volume for people specifically looking for financial planning services in Fall River. If I do the same search in Boston, there's a lot more. So I can just do a quick comparison on, what these companies are doing and see how it can compare to you. So I'm going to take all these websites and I put them all into this tool that I use, and it shows me all the information that Google uses to determine your position in the search results. Now, obviously, these numbers vary greatly depending on the market that they're in and things like that. But let me just briefly touch on what these numbers mean, so that way, as we're going through your site, you can see what changes can be made and how that'll affect its ranking. So when Google is determining how to rank your website, it's going to use two factors. The first is what's called the authority or trust that it has in your site. Now, this basically boils down to a popularity contest because this authority is gained when other domains or websites refer back to yours and then they create what's called a backlink. And then Google uses these to build trust because it's other people or other websites endorsing you. So to give you an example, if say the local news station did an article on their website for the top 10 best financial planning services in Massachusetts, and in that article, the reader could click on a link and it would bring them to your website, that would be considered one backlink from one referring domain. Now, these backlinks can come from many different places besides press releases, including blogs, editorials, guest posts, things like that. One very strong one is what's called a citation, which is anytime that your name, address, and phone number appear in an online directory. Those include Yelp, Yellow Pages, Better Business Bureau. Good news about these is they're usually always free. It just takes some time to find them, register your business, and then input the information exactly as it's shown in Google. Now, all of these links and referring domains add up to a total amount of authority that we can see here depicted as a number on a scale of 1 to 100, which is the total amount for your entire website and then the total amount for the page that I'm currently looking at. So obviously your home page is the strongest, which it normally is, and it accounts for a majority of the authority of your entire web domain. Now, if we go take a look at the local competition, it seems like the first couple here in the Fall River area are just national companies that have a presence here in the Fall River area. So as you can see, they have a lot of authority. They have built thousands of links from thousands of websites, and their total authority or domain rating, as it's called, is very high. Now, this would seem almost insurmountable, but what's happening here is these are basically just using the authority of their entire site and letting it kind of spill over. Because if we look at their exact presence here on just this Fall River page, they haven't done any work. They're literally just using the power of their entire website, and Google is seeing that and transferring some of it. Same thing even with Ameriprise. They've done a little bit more as far as adding links to this exact website for this Neil Borges guy, but it's really just riding off the coattails of the power of their entire site. Same thing with Boston. We've got this whatever company, Beyond Your Hammock. They seem to be, even though they're registered in Boston, they seem to be pretty national. They've done the same thing. So if we look at an actual Boston company, this is a pretty good example of a realistic company. They're here in the Boston area, and this is the rough amount of authority that they've built to their website. There is something to note here that it is not just a sheer matter of quantity of these links and referring domains. Quality has a lot to do with it as well. We want to make sure that we're linking back to partners that are relative to your industry, and then they're also trustworthy themselves because you can't transfer any of that authority or trust through the link. If they're from, say, out of the country or spam me because they're not anywhere related to your industry or your field. So we want to make sure that we're finding quality places to link back to. Now, obviously, in the eyes of Google, this should all happen naturally or organically throughout your entire lifespan of being a business. We just try to accelerate that process by finding high quality linking partners so that way we can compete with the actual companies and then increase your domain rating. Now, the second factor for ranking, which is we're going to go through a little bit more detail here, is your content on the page. The last 3 updates from Google, they've really placed a higher emphasis on quality content on the page. And this is where we can really make up a lot of ground on your site. Because if you see here, these are all the keywords and phrases that Google is either finding on your site or associating with your site. And then it also shows me the volume, the number of times per month they're being searched. But as I look through these are basically almost all branded keywords, meaning that they're typing some form or another of your actual business name, which means that they're people that already know about you. This isn't attracting any new clients because it's just the people that are typing in your name to try to find some more information about you. So if we take a look here at this Boston-based company, just to kind of show you what I'm looking for as far as a keyword, which is what I call buyer intent. So if somebody is searching for Boston Financial Management, which is being searched 250 times a month, well, that's the company itself. So let's say Boston Financial Advisor, same thing, 250 times per month. They're actually looking for a financial advisor to help them with their wealth management. Whereas if they're just typing in, financial planning or things like that, that's just something a little bit more general. So they might be trying to get some more information about it, but not necessarily looking to hire somebody. So as far as ranking for the keywords, let's say you wanted to have a presence in Boston. So if you had Boston Financial Advisor ranking and your page was in the top, 3 or 4 results on that search page, those 250 people per month will be seeing your website. Google Analytics estimates that about 10% of total search volume should convert into a lead. So you're looking, 25 people a month would be contacting you, whether that's through a contact form, email, or calling you directly off the website. Now, obviously, you're not going to get every single one of those clients, and there's a lot of variables, but you can just see how the sheer number of leads coming in per month can definitely add up to some revenue at the end of the month and the end of the year, and that's just for one keyword phrase. So we repeat that same process for all the highest volume keyword phrases relative to the services that you offer in the areas you want to offer them in, and then that's how we can get a lot more clients, attracted to your business. So there is a formula that Google uses to find these keywords on your site. So if we take a look at the site here, Google, being a robot and a computer, doesn't care about your layout. The first thing it's going to do is just going to come in and count all the words and text on your page. Now, generally speaking, we usually recommend about a minimum of around 1,000 words on a home page, only because the more information that you give on the page, the more of an expert that Google sees you as, and then the more likely it is to recommend you. Kind of like the difference between having a single book versus an encyclopedia. Now, while it's counting all those words, it's also searching for those keywords. So any of the services that you want to offer or areas you want to offer them in. However, this is where the number of words on the page really comes into play because you're only allowed to have one of those keywords for about every 100 words of text on the page. So the more information that we want to give or the more keywords that you want to be found for just means that the more actual text that has to be on the page because Google is actually reading that text. So in order to qualify a keyword like wealth accumulation or investment planning, the 100 words of text following that have to be specifically describing that word in order for Google to pick it up. So what I would suggest here, this little menu right here is what we call a hamburger, which is great in a mobile format because there's not a lot of room on the screen. But I would probably suggest in a desktop format, spread it out so that way people can actually see all the services that you offer right through the menu bar. And then all the services that you want to have, we would separate those into different headings. So it would be, if I can, basically the way it would look would be we'd have a sentence as a heading talking about, one of these keywords, and then we'd have a paragraph describing that keyword for each individual one that you want to actually get picked up for those keywords. Doesn't have to be every single one, but we need to have enough qualifying content for Google to be able to recognize the keyword itself. Then we can also do that similar on your services page. We would separate each individual service into its own page. So that way Google will pick up the individual keywords, not just on your homepage, but also see them on your service pages as well. So you have a greater potential of Google making sure that they would guarantee that they have that keyword associated to your site. And it'd be the same format. It would be a header tag is what we call it, a heading with the exact keyword that we want, whether it's specific to a city or state, or it's just a generic keyword itself, and then have the qualifying content to back that up. Now, when it comes to ranking in specific areas, obviously Google understands that your address is in Fall River. If you wanted to have a footprint in the Boston area, very simply what we do is just called a location back page, meaning we take, it would be say jmarshallfinancial.com/Boston, and then everything on that page would be talking about all the Boston keywords. So though your homepage might not come up for a search for Boston Financial Advisor, we could get your location, your Boston location back page ranking, because Google will see that everything on that page is talking about Boston. So that page will be more relative to the search results than your homepage. Obviously, then it's the same site. So once somebody is on that Boston page, as soon as they click on anything for, say, your services or contact or anything like that, it would still be going directly to your homepage and directly to you. It's just a way that we can get Google to understand that you do have a relative footprint in the Boston area by having that exact specific page targeted just to Boston. And then you can do that to any number of areas that you feel that are, a great fit for your business, or that you want to attract more business from that area. We just make a location back page for that. So how this is going to work in a search. Obviously, the first thing that always comes up are paid advertising. This is pay-per-click. It can get kind of expensive because regardless if somebody clicks it on purpose or by accident, or one of your competitors is doing it on purpose, you're getting charged for that. So what we always try to look for is the best bang for your buck. So right here in the map section, this is based on your Google business profile. It has nothing to do with your website. It is mildly geographically based. So depending on where I'm searching from and where your business is located determines the radius here. There are ways to increase your exposure in this, so that way you can come up in further out searches. One way to do that is, like you can see here, I have a tool that shows me exactly where your business profile ranks. So this particular client wants to rank for replacement windows, but only in a certain area. So you can see what we've done is built them out a campaign, so that way they're ranking in the top. As long as you're in the top 3, you're on the first page, because they're going to always list 3 pages here. But this is how we can target specific areas and get it, exactly to where you want, whether it's from Fall River to Boston. It just depends on what areas you want to target from. What I will also suggest, though, is that you don't even have your website connected to your business profile. So anybody that is finding you in the map section, they still can't even go to your website. So that's probably the first thing that I can do. But there are definitely ways to optimize this listing so it can come up in further areas. However, underneath that, this is what's called the organic search results. So this is where the more authority or trust that Google has in your site, the higher up on the list you're going to rank. So this is where getting more of those links or referrals from other websites helps you climb and outrank the competition. And then regardless of the location where they're searching from, as long as you have that keyword on your site and your site is ranking and it has the enough authority, you'll be getting all those leads and all those clicks. So this is a big area that we want to concentrate in to make sure that we're getting those high quality and high volume keywords. Now, I know this information was a lot, and I'd love to go into further detail if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about ways that we can help you out with some of the online presence. Please feel free to get back to me with any kind of questions or feedback, and I'd love to talk to you more. Appreciate it.